What's up, Bad Wolf? Timmy, Floyd, Ogilvy, or OG Levi. Thank you guys very much for being here. Ace, it's all for an officer that has only a niche use in PvP. Yes, it absolutely is. And they always feel like I mean, I don't think it would matter what the officer does to them. I think this is just, hey, every epic officer in their mind has the same valuation, right? It should take $400 worth of packs to unlock. And if they keep giving out more resources in packs and more resources in the battle pass and things like that, they're just going to keep inflating the milestones to go along with it. So it's not like they're ever going to be like, oh, this officer's as good. This officer isn't really that good. Let's change this. Maybe we can sell him for a little less. Nope. Every single epic officer in their mind is worth $400. We as the players know that's not the case. You know, some officers are clearly more useful and more multifunctional, and you're getting a lot more daily value out of, as opposed to somebody who might only be worth, PvP. How often does that happen? Sporadically, incursions. How you might not be crewing them up every day. An officer like, Janeway or somebody like that, or Strange New Worlds Pike, or even some other old school Pike and things like that. Those officers you were using every single day, running your dailies, doing your missions, and those kinds of stuff. Players see more inherent value in that, and they're willing to go the extra mile to acquire one of those officers. An officer like Kira here, she's not bad if we look at her. If it will actually let me look at her. Giving you some extra Apex barrier against players is her captain's ability. So she's reducing a little damage in PvP. And if they happen to have Assimilate, she's giving you extra shots, which is cumulative, which will stack. So that's also a very strong value. It's just the triggering the Assimilate part. Mirror Data does do that, has a chance to do that. You also have the lower deck officers that also have a chance to do that too. So Carissa thinks that Kira is great if you can max her. Yeah, if you can get her up there quite a bit, for sure. Getting a lot of extra shots off in fights is pretty solid and pretty strong. Um, it's weird because it feels like that was the complaint, with some of the other PvP officers, right? Wasn't that kind of a knock on Carol Freeman, how much extra damage she does, and she gives you extra shots too, right? So she's ending PvP fights, increasing your shots by 100%. She's ending fights too quickly. You're getting all this extra damage and these extra shots. I know what we'll do. Let's replace her with a new Mirror Universe officer who gives you extra shots. Wait, what? Yeah, PvP is too out of scope, and we need to scale it back down. So we're going to add these things that increase or decrease the damage output, by giving you an extra layer of protection with this Apex barrier stuff. But we don't want the fights to go too long, so we're still going to give you the extra shots back. Come on. Come on. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Yeah, and then obviously, yeah, she does scale up, and she's just going to keep stacking and snowballing there. So she's strong. She's pretty good. So turns out it's about money, and not that fights are too short. Who could predict that? It's always about money, right? It's always about the money. That's why they just keep power creeping and recycling officers every 8 to 10 months. That's all you get now. There's these Mirror Universe officers that you're spending money buying today. By next spring, they'll be replaced. The same way that Cal Freeman, who came out in October, has already been replaced. The same way that the strike team officers who came out in August, September, October of 2022 are all but forgotten at this point. Less than 2 years later, and most of them don't really see the light of day as often. If you're running a second or a third ship for PvP or incursions or things like that or base defense, sure. If you got an Enterprise D and you're like a G6 player or a high G5 player, yeah, that Wayoon crew is probably still a better option than the Carol Freeman crew was. But that's only because of the addition of it's Ransom, right? I think Jack Ransom is the one who works with them. It's only because of the addition of him a couple months ago as well that took Wayoon's crew from being not even worth using to, back near the top of the power curve. So shelf life is limited in this game in terms of officers these days. What's up, Bob the Beck fan? Welcome on in. Floyd's listening at the gym. Okay. Well, ride that stationary bike or whatever it is that you're doing. Pump that iron, and thanks for tuning in. You need to do the SMSs though for premium dust. So chasing officer unlock for a secondary reward. What do we got? So there's no dust in the individual SMSs. The premium dust all comes from the quantum events, right? So you have to finish this kind of stuff. Now, obviously, if you want to do recruit Kira and finish in the top 3 to get the additional points to get a whole lot of mirror dust, I mean, it's only the SLB, right? So, I mean, that is certainly an option if you want to get a big chunk of mirror dust there. Top 3? Yikes. Where are we at? Right now, my top 3 is 25 million points, which would basically mean finishing. Because my top milestone is 28, and I'm sure over the next rest of the day, those point totals will continue to go up. So it's basically finishing the SMS. I don't see that happening for me. Maybe for some different brackets, that might be a little more feasible. But where I'm at right now, that just ain't happening. Why, oh wonder? At Ops 49, this SMS does not math out. The maths in the Ultra Station Pack that they are supposedly based things on only give 11.9 million points for 2 packs worth, and the SMS is 14.9 million. Interesting. And that's counting everything, right? If you all the epics and stuff too, all included? Okay. Because that's the other thing. That's always the difficulty with it, is that when they put it based on, your station upgrade packs, unless there's a special premium one in here, which I don't see anything extra right now. But yeah, typically it's this pack right here, and they require you to spend everything. Whatever you've got in here that you can spend, that they're giving you. G4 epics, G3 uncommons and rares, and yeah, you got to spend every little dime of it. We can double check the math. Let's do that. Let's double check. I mean, it's also possible too that the valuation might have gone up, and pack values are still kind of different, right, on servers. So we got 5-star rare, 5-star uncommon, 4-star epic, 4-star rare, 4-star uncommon, 3-star rare, 3-star uncommon, type, amount, points. So this is going to be 3480 times 3, 13200 times 3, the epics 1980 times 3, the rare 6860. There's 3 bundles of that. 24400. The 3 stars aren't even. Okay. So that one I got to do by hand. Please hold. And this one's that. So that's what we got in terms of total resources being given out of the packs. It's a lot of stuff, for sure. Create a problem, fix it, create it again. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's 1,000% what they do, so. You're on server 31 for me. Okay. What's up, Darth? Welcome on in. How many resistance chits does everyone have at this point? I think I'm at 39,000 here on my main account. Right, let's go back and look at the point values. Now, if they are taking multiphasics into it as well, that would be disappointing, but not surprising. So those are worth 20 points apiece. Those are worth 30. The uncommons are worth 40. The rares are worth 60. The epics are worth 240. The uncommons are worth 90. The rares are worth 180. Total point value times that. Copy that formula down. Let's throw in some commas so it's actually easy to read. And let's do a sum function. All right, so here's what we came up with. And obviously we'll zoom this in to make it easier to see. And then let's get that out of the way. So, if I buy a $100 station pack and spend everything down to the last penny, I will get 11.4 million points on server 40. So if I have to, and again, you're getting 35, 45, 50 shards. She's 100 to unlock, I'm assuming. So you're talking about needing 286. Forgot my equal sign there. So I need 57 million points, and I'm getting 11,460 there. So now suddenly why did that not work? Is it rounding? Yeah, that's why, because my rounding was truncated. It's exactly 1/5. You're getting 1/5 of the points you need, which means that Kira is actually now valued as a $500 officer. So either they've raised their valuation, or they're expecting you to make up the difference somewhere else. Whether it's because they're giving out more resources in the battle pass, or as somebody mentioned above, PJ mentioned above, they're also mentioning taking into account the multiphasics, possibly. Wherein, if you buy those $400 worth of packs, what are we getting in multiphasics? Ultra Station Upgrade Pack is currently paying out 17,000 multiphasic credits. So you're talking about buying 4 of those. That's 68,000 multiphasics. And if you were to cash them all in the multiphasic recruit or Ultra Station upgrade pack, and you're getting these additional resources here too. Let's do the math. Let's do the math. And let's just copy this down here. All right, so 68,000 multiphasic packs. 68,000 worth of multiphasics divided by 500. 136 multiphasic packs that you could open. So whatever we get in here, it's going to be times 136. 16 times 136. Uncommons is 58 times 136. 136. 29 times 136. 104. The rares is 7. Uncommons is 19. Well, that only gets you another 2.25 million points there. So you would need another 2.25 million points here out of multiphasic. So it's still not covering enough, right? If you buy 4 packs, that gets you to 45 million. You cash in all the multiphasics and spend all of that too. That gets on an extra 2 million points. You're still only at 47, so you're still 10 million points short, 9 million points short. So you'd still have to buy extra. So they're not counting the multiphasics. It really is just more of either, hey, she's a $500 officer now. We've raised our price point. We've raised our valuation of what our epics are worth in our minds. Or because she's a PvP officer, they think she's worth more. Or because they think they're giving out more resources in the battle pass and things like that now too. They've taken that inflation into consideration and given this an additional bump as well. So okay, well that was fun, a little exercise, and obviously use that to your advantage or disadvantage, however you want. If you are even remotely interested in acquiring Kira and you're thinking like, maybe I want to, maybe I don't, well, now you know where you'd be at in terms of a price point equivalency. Is she a $500 officer to you? Is anybody in this game really a $500 officer? Is anybody in any video game really a $500 character? That's up for everybody to decide for themselves. Also keep in mind, today's ticket event is going to be crystal mining, so if you want to get a head start on that, get your ship out where you need it to be. If you spend 57 million points, you should score well in the SLB, so you probably still only need 4 packs, Timmy says. Yes, but that shouldn't come into consideration. The SMS is what the valuation has always been off of. Yes, you can do it for cheaper because of the fact that even if you don't finish that 4th milestone, one of the 2 weeks, right? If you come in here and you're like, I'm only going to get to the 14 million here, maybe both weeks, right? I'll do the 28 million twice. So you're looking at 25, 30 times 2 is 60. You got to make up 40 extra shards. Can you get there from the SLB? Depending very much on your bracket, maybe. Um, because where would 15 million points put me right now? So 15 million points right now puts me somewhere around here. Most likely, this people will continue to move up. So it would be in the 11 to 25 range, which would get me 15 shards. If I do that twice, that's 30. So now I'm 10 short. So I'd have to make up 10 extra shards for Kira. Are there 10 in the battle pass? Probably. Yeah. There's 6 in the top half. There's 9 in the bottom half. There's 15. So technically, again, depending on your brackets, if you hit the third milestone twice, you'd get 30, 60, and then potentially that would put you into this 11 to 25, which gets you another 30, which gets you to 90. So you can do it for less by being, maneuvering through events. But again, it's going to drastically depend on what level bracket range you're in and what your server spending habits and stuff look like. If you're a lower player in your 40s, you might be able to take top 5 in your bracket by hitting that third milestone, or win your bracket. We've seen people in some bracket ranges, they hit the second or third milestone and they actually win the whole bracket because people just can't spend the resources in certain level range that at the point totals that they want us to. So there you go. So that's what the Kira event is looking like. Take that into consideration. Use that information however you see fit.